Texas football kicks off conference play. Texas soccer is riding a 3-game win streak, and it's already week 3 in the NFL. All of this and more coming up on College Crossfire.
Yeah, let's do this.
And their men's basketball team needs to stop social distancing themselves from fans.
But now it has been overdone to death. Playing, don't stop believing.
Bye-bye, Bucks. Bye-bye, Raptors.
All right, let's get to it. Welcome into College Crossfire. I'm your host, Jack Decision, and it looks like tonight's show is going to be a good one. Let's start out by introducing tonight's panel. On first base, we have last week's champion, Jordan. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm excited to be back here, compete against these two great panelists, hopefully repeat, three-peat a championship here. Let's see how we do.
Let's hear it. Second base, we have Evan. Evan, how are you?
I'm doing great tonight. How are you?
Never been better. Woo, first in-person show. All right, third base, David. How are you doing?
You know, I'm a little shaken up about my Chiefs losing. I mean, Jordan over here had some really great takes last week,
I can't
Hey,
talk
good
about this
game.
one.
I'll give you a handshake with that one. Good game. Good sportsmanship here.
Love to see it. All right, guys, let's get to it. This past Saturday, Texas football took on the Rice Owls at home. This was the third game of the season for both squads. Texas was coming off a tough loss to Arkansas, and Rice was looking for their first win of the season. In what was a scoreless game for the Owls, Texas came to play. During the first 3 quarters, Texas's offense worked their magic, putting up in 427 yards and 6 touchdowns. 58-0 was the final score, marking the first shutout for the Longhorns since 2017. Being a non-conference game, it seems like it was a bit of a mismatch of talent. So how would you grade Texas' performance against Rice? Jordan, start us off.
I think that Texas did pretty good. And look, I know that it's Rice, and they're not exactly, the cream of the crop when it comes to football talent. And I would have been shocked if we lost that game or even kept that game close. But I think the game served 2 good purposes. One, it gave Casey Thompson some valuable starting time in an actual game setting. And then 2, it built up the team's confidence after that rough loss against Arkansas. And so I think that a W is still a W, even though it is Rice. Rice isn't a great team, but I think that we should be celebrating any win.
Give or take some, confidence booster. All right, Evan, what do you think?
I have to agree. I mean, it's a win. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, we're going to see a win in the win column. That's all we need to know. Rice, not a great team, but let's remember, they played Arkansas a great game. At the start of the 4th quarter, they were tied. We weren't, okay? So we need to take every win we can get, take every chance we get to get a dub. Anything's free if we can just make it a good game. Like you said, Casey Thompson played really well. Bijan Robinson ran all over the Rice defense. It was a good team game. Our defense came to play. Our offense came to play. Everyone played well, and I'm very happy with what happened. Hopefully we can keep it going, but I think no matter what, you should be happy with this win if you're a Texas fan.
Yeah, fair point. And like you said about the Arkansas game, I mean, they had a better game against Arkansas than Texas did. So we'll have to see. All right, David, what say you?
Well, I mean, anytime you beat a team and hold them to 0 points, that's always something to be, encouraged about. But there's a lot of things that I liked and a lot of things I didn't like. Something that I loved was how much we split the ball in our backfield. We gave 5 different running backs the ball, and we ran for over 400 yards. And we got involved our Alabama transfer, who's a speedster. He's Robinson, but not Bijan. He's Keelan. Get to know him. He's good. He needs to be more involved in the future games to come. However, what I was a little skeptical about was I didn't really see us use the ball in the passing game as much, and that was my concern out of Arkansas, was when we couldn't run the ball against Arkansas, Sark shut down, and we couldn't throw, and we panicked. And I didn't really see us do much involvement in the passing game with Casey. I still think he's definitely the better option going forward, but I'd like to see us play more passing heavy against these less competitive teams.
Definitely need to increase the passing.
Yes.
But like you said, the running backs were fantastic against Rice. We'll have to see what's happening in the future now going to conference play, but definitely a great showing against Rice. Start out, David, you're getting 3, Jordan 2, Evan 1. Next up, while many can be quick to criticize what is going wrong for this 2021 Texas football squad, people should still be able to give credit where it's due. Texas was given a week between their loss to Arkansas and their match against Rice to sharpen their weaknesses and figure out how to pull it together to get a dominant win. The main change from Sark, starting Casey Thompson at quarterback. Thompson had 7 of his 8 drives and in touchdowns and completed 15 of his 18 passes. Although it was a solid showing for the Horns, Rice wasn't the most competitive matchup like we said. So, do you think Thompson is cut out for Big 12 play? Evan, start us off.
I think he is. And I came into this year probably the biggest Hudson Card truther you could find at this campus. I was ready for Card to lead this team, and after the second week, I was even ready to say it probably wasn't his fault. I felt like the Arkansas game, you could point to many other fingers besides him. I don't think he was a problem, but also it felt like he wasn't a solution. And I think what we saw with Casey Thompson in this game is that at the very least, he knows how to run the offense, which I was not confident that Card could do after our first 2 games. I think what we've seen from Thompson since he's come into the program is he's been resilient. He's been the second choice quarterback twice, and yet both times he's come in as a replacement and played well. We've seen him replace Ellinger and play great. We've seen him replace Card and play much better than Card has. I think it's fair to say that no matter how talented you think he is or how much better you think Card might be or he might be, it's fair to say that he's been resilient and that no matter what, a Big 12 quarterback needs to be able to be resilient and change your game plan mid-game. Because as we know with the Big 12, it's not a defense-heavy conference. It's going to be shootout games. If we were going to play Oklahoma, expect our defense to give up 40-plus points. We need a quarterback that's going to be able to match that, match the shootout, match what we can have on offense with big plays. And I think Casey Thompson can give us big plays that I'm not so sure Hudson Card could. I think being in the Big 12 is a good fit for Thompson. Maybe not in the SEC, but we'll have to see after this year. So
QB Wood.
I really like the word resilient. That's a great word to describe Casey. All right, David, what say you?
Well, I like Casey a lot. I really liked what he did against Rice. I thought that he definitely came out there and had leadership qualities. And that's something that really separates him from Card, in my opinion, is those leadership qualities. Casey was able to completely win over the locker room, and we saw a lot of that in the Arkansas game. It just seemed like we wanted to win more when Casey was on the field, and I really liked that. And I was, again, looking at Sark last week, it didn't seem like Sark was the guy to get the team motivated. We know Bijan is one of our most talented players, but he's a soft-spoken, humble man. He's not the type to really get the locker room going. That's Casey's job, and Casey's doing a fine job of that. So that's what I like about that. On the more technical side of the thing, the O-line is a problem, and Hudson Card is a guy who likes to sit in the pocket and make really smart decisions. He doesn't like to force the ball anywhere, but we can't really afford to do that. Casey's a little bit more gunslingy, kind of like he can run out, scramble some more, and that really complements what we're doing here more often as we start to rebuild our offensive line for when Hudson Card does eventually take over, or whichever next Texas quarterback comes in. Let's get Arch Manning, please. I would love that so much. But,
give us Arch.
Love to hear it. All right, Jordan.
It remains to be seen, obviously, but I liked what I saw enough from him at Rice and then the limited snaps he got against Louisiana and Arkansas and then even last year to feel confident in Thompson as the starter. And I just want to echo a point that David said about him being a leader. It seems like the team is fully invested in him. As he said, he's won the locker room over, and I feel like that's a really important quality to have in a quarterback. The talent is obviously there. We could see that, but that leadership, that resiliency, and again, like Evan said, the Big 12 is not really known for their defense. He's not going to be facing Alabama's defense or LSU's defense this year, at least. We'll see what happens next year. So I don't think that defensively it's going to be that much of a challenge for Thompson. Obviously these are still good players, but I think that Thompson's going to be able to do pretty well with the weapons that UT has on offense in order to succeed.
Yes, I think leadership was a great thing that Casey showed at the Rice game. You could see on the sidelines everything that was going on there, and you could see how revved up the team was and everything like that. But to Evan's point, the defense is not a great thing in the Big 12, so it is going to be very important. And the word resilient was great to describe Casey, and I think that is what he has over Card. So Evan 3, David 2, Jordan 1. Next up, this Saturday, the Longhorns stay at home for their first conference matchup against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. While Texas is 2-1 on the season, Texas Tech is an undefeated 3-0. Last year's matchup between the two was a close and exciting one in Lubbock. Joshua Moore's game-winning overtime touchdown and Caden Stern's interception on Tech's last fourth down sealed the deal for Texas as they took the 63-56 win over the Red Raiders. Coach Sark and the Texas team seem to be taking on this game with a positive can-do attitude. But what should Texas's game plan be to beat Texas Tech? Go ahead, David.
Well, so I think that we need to get Bijan Robinson back involved in the passing game. If we look back to the Louisiana game, Bijan Robinson had some receiving touchdowns. He had tons of catches out of the backfield. But what he didn't do against Arkansas, or even last game, he had one catch for 14 yards, and that was it. I want to see Bijan running routes out of the backfield. We got to make up for a shaky wide receiver core. They're learning. They're young. They got plenty of time to be good, but they're more gimmicky receivers. I'd also like to see a lot of pre-snap motion, get Whittington across the center in the backfield, get all of our guys moving around, get the defenders of Tech really on their heels, not knowing who the ball is going to go to, because we got a lot of speedsters, a lot of talent. And hey, not just Bijan getting involved in the backfield, but all of our new running backs that we have, get them involved in the passing game. That's crucial on offense. For the defensive side, I think we have a solid secondary, and Texas Tech likes to pass the ball a lot. I think that that's going to be a very favorable matchup in our favor. I think BJ Foster he's got that on lock. I think we're going to be fine on that side of the football. Let's just get our backs involved in the passing game.
All right, so need the execution on offense, defense, okay? Jordan, what do you think?
I'm going to say, like what David said at the end, about reinforcing the secondary, because Texas Tech is, as we all know, I mean, they're an air raid team. Ever since, Cliff Kingsbury and Patrick Mahomes were there, and even before then, they like to pass the ball deep and they like to pass the ball often. Last year, when Texas played Texas Tech, they had almost 450 yards of passing. And that game would have been a loss if not for that amazing Sam Ehlinger comeback, which I know we all remember. But I think that if Texas sits back in coverage, Tech will still be able to work underneath, get some dump-offs and short routes for the tight ends. But if we take away that deep ball, it'll avoid us getting torched over the top. And I think that that'll contribute to better success for Texas.
All right, so if the defense is good, we should be okay. All right. All right, Evan.
Well, I think, kind of contrary to what you're saying, I think Bijan's not going to be the X factor for this game because Texas Tech's run defense is just very good. I mean, they're top 10 in the nation right now in run defense, averaging 57 yards, I think, about is per game. And though Bijan's definitely better than the Houston, the FIU running backs, we have to make sure to find some way to get the ball in the air. We need to get Xavier Worthy involved. He's shown as a great receiver as a freshman. I think he needs to be one that makes huge plays against them. Go over the top, beat that slower defense that Texas Tech has. I'm a little scared of that if we try to run the ball every play, go 2 downs in, run the ball, 2 yards, 3rd and 8. It's going to happen like it happened in the Arkansas game, and I don't want them to do that overtime. I think on defense, we just need to limit the mistakes. Have our tacklers like Overshone, Brockermeyer, make sure we're all right.
All right, we'll have to see how it plays out. But David, you're going to get 3, Evan 2, Jordan 1. And when we come back, the panel discusses Texas soccer in the beginning of the NFL season. You won't want to miss it.
Good evening and welcome in to College Crossfire. I'm your host, Mark Skoll Jr. Glad to have you on your Wednesday.
And Mark Skoll can piss off the cannon. I don't like the cannon.
Oh, wait, you don't like the cannon?
All right, let me explain why Aaron Judge is getting it. You can boo me all you want.
Arne just lost his point, tried to get points from the crowd, but they're not the one giving points.
Listen here, brother, 9 p.m. Wednesday nights, I'm coming for you.
We're sons of an illustrious father, and this is Austin Underground.
This is a video?
Uh-huh.
What is boom in the shot?
It's a show.
It's a lot of hard work.
A boom in the shot is where
It's
this
a
person
show.
called a boom operator, and they are incompetent.
We only
It's a
have
show.
like 6 people working on the show, so what's the deal with that? Like, if you're out there, we need people to help volunteer.
I can't breathe.
Hold on.
It's a show.
You're a fan of this show.
Hold everything, knaves! Hey, buddy, how's it going?
You're not my dad!
We can't keep losing PAs. The ones that dig themselves out quit.
All of the best writing happens in the bathroom.
Even mustard gas didn't hurt this much.
What even is this?
It's down to film, douche.
Right, well, it sucks.
Hi, I'm Guillermo and I'm watching TSTV. Don't forget to watch TSTV. Yeah!
Welcome back to College Crossfire. Before we get started, let's take a look at the scoreboard. Leading this show, we have David with 8 points. Right behind him, second place, Evan with 6 points. And then in third, we have Jordan with 4 points.
Knock him off.
All
Get him out. Get him
Let's
out of
jump
here.
right back into it. This past Sunday, Texas soccer played their 4th straight game at home and their 9th non-conference game. This time against Southern Illinois University.
Into the box, it's Grosso, and it's 1-0.
Trinity Byers and Holly Ward, the Longhorns took the 3-0 victory and now have won 3 in a row. The team's current record is 4-3-2, having fallen to UCF, Georgetown, and Oregon. Now, heading into conference play with their first Big 12 opponent being Kansas State, do you think Texas is prepared to have a successful rest of the season? Jordan, start us off.
I would like to say yes, but I still am a little bit nervous about Texas's chances. Now, I know that I said in the last block when we were talking about Texas beating Rice that a win is still a win, but UT Soccer's last 3 wins were against UT RGV, Sanford, and then the Southern Illinois University Edwardsville, which I hadn't even heard of before this game. No offense to any Southern University, Illinois, whatever it was, watchers that might be watching. But when we talk about the Big 12, TCU, that's a really good opponent. Kansas State's going to be tough. Kansas is going to be tough. West Virginia is going to be tough. But I still have confidence in this Horns team. I don't think that they're going to be competing at the highest of levels. I don't think that Texas is going to win the whole thing or anything. But I feel like Texas is going to recover all right after a pretty rocky start to the season.
All right. Think they can bounce back? Yeah. All right. Evan, what say you?
I'm not convinced that they can really get out of the mid-table spot that they're at about right now. I mean, against their last 5 Power 5 teams, they haven't secured a win. They've been embarrassed by teams like UCF, Georgetown, teams that Georgetown just at the end of the top 25, UCF not ranked. And we're talking about competing with TCU, West Virginia. These are teams that are top 10 teams in the nation. I just don't see them being able to break that barrier with these really excellent soccer programs. I think our midfield is fantastic. We have some great playmakers. Grosso, Olympic medalist. We gotta love her. But I just see them having problems getting into the attack and creating chances on goal. Georgetown game especially. A lot of it was just kind of punting it upfield and not really being able to mix in the attackers with the midfielders to get shots on goal, which ended up being our demise. So I think if we can really find a way to get shots on goal, then we can maybe succeed more. But I just don't see us breaking past teams like TCU and West Virginia.
Yeah, great teams in the Big 12 up top. TCU, like you mentioned, Oklahoma State's another one. All right, David.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty not optimistic about this one. We kind of had a cupcake schedule the last 4 games, which were all home games. The 3 teams Jordan mentioned, which was schools I hadn't heard of either, and I'm not from Texas, so definitely didn't know some of those schools. But especially Oregon, our home game. Didn't win that one either. And then our next 2 games are going to be at K-State, in Manhattan, and in Norman. And that's just going to be really tough to go away for those first 2 conference games. I don't know. I just don't really see very much confidence in that situation right there.
Yeah, I had some hope after the 7-0 victory. That was pretty promising.
That was nice.
Lexi Misimo herself had 4 goals. So I don't know. Good. I feel like you guys are downplaying a little bit on Texas soccer. While I don't think they're going to be at the top, I don't think they're going to be at the bottom. Kansas State probably is at the bottom, so that could be a good sign. But I'm going to have to give Evan the points on this one. So we'll head into the next question. We are now into week 3 of the NFL season, and there are only 7 teams left undefeated. Those teams are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Los Angeles Rams, San Francisco 49ers, Las Vegas Raiders, Carolina Panthers, Arizona Cardinals, and Denver Broncos.
Hollywood.
The Brady-led Bucs are not a shocker, but there are some other teams that have defied the odds and come out dominant this season. That being said, which NFL team has surprised you the most so far through the first 2 weeks? Evan?
I'm a little upset that they've surprised me, but it's got to go to the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, they took out my Pittsburgh Steelers and his Baltimore Ravens, 2 very good NFC North teams, AFC North teams, and I think their offense looks legit. It didn't feel like fluke wins. I feel like Derek Carr, who now leads the league by a lot in passing yards, having a very good season so far. Maybe could be one of the best seasons he's had. Darren Waller, extreme X factor, probably the second best tight end in the NFL this year, behind Travis Kelce. He's been fantastic this year. I think that their wide receiver core, which was probably their biggest question mark coming into the year, has really improved. Henry Ruggs was drafted as a deep threat, is finally going deep and getting catches. He blew the top over the Steelers last week and was very good at just getting open. I think their defense as well, very surprised that they've been good. But Max Crosby looks like a top 10 edge rusher in the league. They have players like Casey Hayward who have made immediate impacts after a free agency. And also their line, something that was a struggle in the past, has been excellent at protecting Derek Carr against great pass rushers like the Ravens and like the Steelers. I think that they could be a wild card team this year. Don't know if they could beat out the Chiefs, but I'm very surprised with how good they've been.
Definitely a surprising team there, especially like you mentioned, beating the Steelers. That was definitely a shocking one.
Okay, don't rub it in.
All right, David.
All right, I'm going to surprise a lot of people with this one. I'm going with an 0-2 team as a team that surprised me as a good team. The Detroit Lions. Cut. Everybody listen up. The Lions played against the Packers and 49ers, which are two very, very solid teams. And I don't think Lions fans were expecting much anyway going into the season. This is why they surprised me. I think they built things the right way. They drafted Penei Sewell, which fell to them as an O-lineman, and then they drafted 2 D tackles right after that. They're building in the trenches. They're not going to win anything this season. They're planning for the future here. In 3 years from now, that's a playoff team. Call me crazy. Y'all book it. Goff is not the answer when Goff's out.
with who at quarterback?
Put it on the board.
They're not going to win with Goff. Hold on. I'm not done. TJ Hawkinson, top 3 tight end this year.
Top 5.
They got their dual threat running backs with DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, who have both been going absolutely off. And their defense is all rookies. They're starting the most rookies out of any team right now. They have a lot of room to grow, but they're finally building things the right way. They're not. Remember all the Lions organizations of past where they would sign these veterans that were going nowhere, not doing anything. I'm surprised and optimistic that the Lions might actually be doing something for their future.
Hey, I like the optimism. I like it.
That's a cupcake answer.
Time, let it play out. Love it.
I wanted to go bold.
There we go. Yeah. Well, Evan took my answer of the Raiders, so I'm gonna pivot a little bit, and I'm gonna go with another 2-0 team that might surprise. That surprised me certainly was the Carolina Panthers. Now, their first game was against the Jets, and the Jets are a terrible team. That one, I'll leave that as an easy win. But their second game was against the Saints, and that's a division game. It's a tough matchup, and the Saints were the team that obliterated the Packers in Week 1. The Packers, which have Aaron Rodgers, the former MVP, NFC Championship Packers. They won by like 20-something points, and then the Panthers turned around and blew out the Saints. And I think that Sam Darnold actually somehow might be good with the Panthers. Look what happened.
No, I agree.
Look what happens when you get away from Adam Gase. You might actually be good. I think that an offense, with Darnold's he's a pretty good game manager. You have McCaffrey, obviously one of the best running backs in the league. You have good receivers like DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. They have the rookie Terrace Marshall Jr. and their defense, which is usually kind of subpar, actually might be good this season. So I'm going to say the Panthers are a team that surprised me.
I like the Panthers. I think that's definitely a surprising one. We had the people at the top, the 49ers, of course, woohoo.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I like the bold move, but I have to go with Las Vegas Raiders. That is completely shocking.
Great
we'll have to see
team.
how it plays out, but that one
Fair
was
enough.
probably the most surprising to me from the first 2 weeks.
Took the answer.
All right, right into the next one. This past Saturday, Austin FC took on the San Jose Earthquakes at Q2 Stadium. Austin FC got out to a hot start, leading 3-1, until the Earthquakes struck back and came out on top with a 4-3 road victory. That was Austin FC's 11th loss out of their last 13 matches, and the team is now on a 5-game losing streak. Although this is a new squad, Austin FC is still not reaching fan or team expectations. So tell me, where is Austin FC lacking this season, and why can't they pull off the wins? David.
All right, guys. They were made in 2018. Let's cut them a little bit of slack here. They also had a COVID year that happened literally right after their formation. They got some time to grow. I'm not too worried about that whatsoever. They're going to figure it out. They're going to get guys. They're pretty young as a roster right now, which is always a good sign because there's tons of room to grow, tons of room for them to improve. And it's a young squad, and it's a squad that just got made. Think about Texans and Jaguars, franchises that were made recently that are, still not good. Yeah, so what were we expecting? That this team would just suddenly be like a Tom Brady-led team? No. And I know that's a football reference, but
Football,
wrong football.
yeah.
But British, American.
All right, we're going to call David Mr. Optimistic tonight. He loves optimism. All right.
Yeah, for those two answers.
Jordan.
What isn't wrong with Austin FC? It's hard, to have things go your way and then, you're last in the Western Conference in the MLS. The biggest thing is probably their goal scoring or lack of goal scoring. In 25 games, they've scored 25 goals, which if you do some basic mathematics, that's an average of 1 goal a game, which is terrible. Now, I think that they have to have a more aggressive attacking approach, whether that's getting more guys in the box, getting more balls in from the wings. Hopefully that'll translate to more goals, and hopefully that'll translate to more wins.
All right. Yeah, definitely lacking the goals. We'll have to see. Hopefully that will go up with you. Evan?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just suck. To be honest. It's just the goal scoring. I was gonna say you kind of took my spot there,
Yeah, you
but
took
I
mine
mean
last.
it is abysmal. I mean they're scoring. Their highest goal score is 6 goals. They've played 25 games. That's not a good conversion rate. I think that as you said, they're a young team. I'll give them that, but they're just not good. They have a minus 15 goal differential. They're last in the Western Conference. I don't see it going up this year. I don't see it going up for a while. Who knows? It's MLS soccer, so anything can happen.
Yes, it's very, everyone can kind of agree as the 11 of the last 13 losses. They're not great. But Jordan, you're going to get the points on this one just because, they do not put up a lot of goals and they give up a lot of them. So that's definitely something we need to work on. But coming up next, it's rapid fire here on College Crossfire. You won't want to miss it.
Sleep on the Lions.
Oh.
Welcome into College Press Box, the most comprehensive sports show on the 40 acres.
The 2018 Orange-White Spring Game revealed key players in the offense.
If she plays really well, Texas really has a great shot.
They need to go deep in these games and really prove themselves.
The women added a trophy to their shelf, winning the title with 117 points.
If Cleveland goes quarterback at 1, which I agree with Sean, I think they do. I think the Giants are crazy if they do not draft Saquon Barkley.
All this and more on College Press Box.
Campus is one of the first sexual assault prevention organizations to really infiltrate.
You should come to my van with me.
Y'all have heard about the man who loved fajitas a little bit too much. And I'll say back off.
Yes.
Me. No, back off.
Oh. Really don't see a lot of black superheroes like that.
Hello and welcome to Tower Talks.
Good evening and welcome back to KVR News.
Good morning, Texas. It's Wednesday, March 7th.
Now let me tell you, when I'm feeling sad, the only thing that turns my day around is a good laugh. So something that is free and accessible, especially if you were a fan of cable, is a lot of TV with a local spin that's sure to give you a big old grin. So if you want to see something funny, I'm going to let you know about this thing on TV called a comedy show. It's called That's Awesome. Don't forget the period and check out our new content because it's a myriad of pretty funny sketches that are bound to make you smile. So if you run out of days on your Netflix trial, you should sit down. Come watch us for a while. We make funnies just to get loads of yucks, and if you don't like it, well, we don't give two.
Hi there, I'm John Cozart from Internet. Now, you're watching Texas Student Television. You need to make sure to like them on Facebook, follow them on Twitter, and subscribe to their YouTube channel for more TSTV goodness. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to go buy a small boat.
Welcome back to College Crossfire. It's time for rapid fire. In this round, points are worth double, and that means it's still anybody's game.
Yeah.
Before we jump back in, let's take a look at the scoreboard. In a tie for first, we have David and Evan with 8 points.
Go.
Right
Come
behind
on.
them, Jordan with 5 points.
Let's go.
All right, guys.
Let's knock
go
off the
right
bet.
back in.
Let's get him out of here.
For the 9th straight year, country star Carrie Underwood is singing the opening theme song of NBC's Sunday Night Football.
Wait all day.
Everyone that watches football recognizes the Oklahoma native's voice when she belts out, waiting all day for a Sunday night. But with a new season comes change, so she recorded a new intro video using the same song, but with a bit more pizzazz. Clearly, Underwood is good at what she does. But if it wasn't her, who would you pick, and what would be your Sunday Night Football introduction video? Anybody can jump in.
Who would I pick? I would pick, since it's Sunday, Sunday is traditionally the Lord's Day, and Kanye West. He's a bit of a Christian man. If you're familiar with Donda, if you're familiar with Jesus is King, if you're familiar with even the College Dropout, going back to his gospel days, Kanye West, he can deliver a really, grandiose operatic choir type Sunday night football theme, I think that would be great. And that's not just because I'm a Kanye fan. I mean, I am a Kanye fan, but I would say Kanye West.
All right, Kanye from Jordan.
I think I'll go next. You know, when you think about days of the week and songs, there's only one that can come to mind, and it's Friday.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, Rebecca Black made maybe the most iconic song about a day of a week of all time, and she can do it again for Sunday. Sunday night, Rebecca Black's night, have her driving in a car, just singing Sunday, Sunday. That's all you need. She's a star. She's a stud. She'll do it. It'll be better than Drake. Or Kanye.
Throwback. That is a throwback. All right, David.
All right. I just recently went to a concert. That concert was Pitbull. That man has got the personality for football. That man loves America. He loves football. Mr. Worldwide, bringing football back. That's my guy.
All right, David brought it home. Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide.
David, you are getting the points on that one. All right, next up. The New York Giants took on the Washington football team last Thursday, where the Giants ended up falling short to Washington 30-29. The good news for those teams is that they had the weekend without a game. Not sure what all of the players did, but I do know that Saquon Barkley spent his Saturday back on his old stomping grounds in University Park. Barkley not only went to the game, but he tailgated and even played beer pong with the Penn State students. His beer pong performance did not match his running back performance, but hey, at least he tried. So, if you could pick any athlete as your beer pong partner, who would you choose and why?
Oh, it has to be Steph Curry. I mean, when you can call from range every single time if you have Steph Curry, and he's gonna make it, most of the time. That's double points. You're gonna win easy. I would actually, you know what? I'm gonna say Klay Thompson instead because
wow, little switch up.
Game 6, Klay Thompson. Game 6, Klay Thompson. I feel like he's gonna get it there. Yeah.
All right, Klay Thompson, cut Steph. All right, who's next?
I mean, I think I can go next because I know my answer right away. I mean, it's got to be J.R. Smith. If there's anyone that can perform while drunk, it's got to be J.R. Smith. Beer pong, not played with Hennessy, but I think, he can just squint a little bit, throw it. It'll still have the same effect. And if it's not a finals game, he'll be able to perform. So it's all right.
Wow.
Hot take. All right, David.
So I'm actually going to use some facts and evidence for this answer here. There was once a beer pong game with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes against Post Malone, where the resulting party had to tattoo their name on the body. So Post Malone now has a Patrick Mahomes signature tattoo on himself. I'm going with Patty Mahomes. Man can sling it. He can sling whatever he wants to sling. He can sling a ping pong, football, soccer. Hey, maybe he can fix Austin FC with his leg? I don't know. That was a bad.
I think Patrick Mahomes, but in order to go against Tech, maybe not so much. I don't know. I'm going to go with J.R. Smith. I think that
was a funny
great
answer.
one.
I like that answer.
Great answer there. And, even a little pun at the end. He's still in college. We got it going on. So, Evan, you're getting the points on that one.
We're neck and
All
neck.
right, our final question of the night. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Take him down.
During the offseason, the NFL decided to crack down on taunting for the upcoming 2021 season. The NFL Competition Committee defines taunting as any flagrant acts or remarks that deride, mock, bait, or embarrass an opponent. This rule has been in the rule book, but the crackdown has been taken to a different level. During the entire 2020 season, there were only 10 penalties for taunting. In 2 weeks of the 2021 season, referees handed out 10 taunting penalties already, 8 of which were this past Sunday. With all fines aside, what would you do to celebrate a touchdown to warn a flag if you were an NFL player?
This is a great question.
We're going to switch up the order a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll go. All right, I would just do the classic. I mean, I know it's an easy move for taunting, but it's a classic in sports history. The Iverson step over. Anytime when Allen Iverson hit that shot, I don't even remember who it was. Do you remember? Tyronn Lue. There you go. I knew it was someone from back then. Anyway, when Iverson hit that and he stepped over him, that's the biggest sign of disrespect I've ever seen, and I loved it. And I don't know why the NFL is trying to get rid of taunting because disrespect is cool. It makes the game fun. And stepping over an opponent, showing your dominance over them, that makes it cool.
It's the little things.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess we'll switch up the order finally. I'll go. First off, I'm pretty pissed off about this rule because Keenan Allen literally got flagged against the Cowboys for talking to another player. They just had an exchange. But if I were to go with the move, I like the little Trae Young shimmy at the end. I feel like it's just a little subtle. I mean, I'm not going to go too overboard. I'm just going to get my first down and go like, Yeah, a little shimmy. I'm not good at it, but I'd figure it out.
We'll work on it. You know,
Yeah,
okay.
we'll figure it out. I don't know.
All right, Evan, bring us home.
I think you need to go with a throwback if you really want to get the good taunting, and I think you got to go with a bit of a pants. Randy Moss got it. It's a disgusting act. You know what? Joe Buck would hate it, but you got to go with the throwback, and you got to do it if you really want to taunt that enemy team, and if you really want to show that you're better than them. Just do that. What are they going to do? Fine you? Probably.
You're going to hear that's a disgusting act from the audience. I don't know. That's not great. But David, I really like this shimmy, you know, subtle, kind of kill 'em with kindness vibes. I like it a lot. So David, you're going to get the points on that one and the win. Congratulations. That being said, it's not time for FaceTime because we are out of time, but congratulations anyways,
awesome.
David. Thank you guys for coming on tonight, and thank you for tuning into tonight's episode of College Crossfire. Don't forget to follow us on social media at TSTV Sports on Twitter and Instagram. Lastly, be sure to wake up with the 1-0 Sports Show Friday mornings at 10 a.m. For all of the panelists and everyone in studio and master control, I'm Jaxie Pigeon. Have a wonderful evening.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't